Hi there. My name is Terces, and once again, I'd like to welcome you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast. I'm so grateful that you're here and on this journey with me. And whether you've joined us recently or you've been with us since the beginning, I appreciate you. I appreciate the few moments that you spend with me every single week. And while I attempt to keep this brief, I also attempt to have it be meaningful. I don't know about you, but it's difficult for me to spend a lot of time listening to a podcast. So these are little snippets of some of the wisdom that I've gained through my 37-year journey of recovery. And I promise to continue to show up and to share those with you in the hopes that they may encourage you on your journey or inspire you or simply give you a little bit more freedom or a deeper meaning to your day to day life. We're in a series right now where I'm actually reading stories from my new book that was recently released. It's a collection of stories over a 37-year period of time, each of them with some kind of meaningful message that you can incorporate into your own journey, wherever you are in that journey and whatever you may be currently working through or dealing with or growing from. So thank you. Thank you again for being here with me. So the story I want to share with you this week is actually called Getting Rid of Stuff. And it's super appropriate because actually we just recently announced the new owners of the farm because many of you know that we're in a transition. My husband and I have really been guided to a new mission in Idaho, northern Idaho, up very close to the Canadian border. So, yes, we're going to Four Seasons. And we were laughing the other day about how so many people in our season of life go to Florida for sunshine and perhaps a little easier. We're going to the great North Woods and actually beginning again to build and create a homestead and a family community and environment up there. So we were getting rid of a lot of stuff. And so I thought this might be a great topic to share with you, although this particular story is from a period of my life, 1992 to 93. So here we go. And again, take what works. I don't have your answers. You do, but hopefully there's something that you glean or some insight that you have that you can apply to your life that eases your journey. Okay. Once again, the familiar voice spoke. I questioned it. Give away everything? Is that really what I heard? I was wanting to simplify. I did feel burdened by a house full of stuff, albeit some good stuff too. I talked it over with my kids, told them to put away whatever they wanted to keep. My mom wanted me to give her back the things that she had gifted me over the years until, as she said, this ridiculous phase of my recovery had passed. I purchased an old RV and I put what we might need on the road into it. And then I contacted the local paper and said I was opening up our home and people could come help themselves to whatever they wanted, free. We sat in our driveway as people came and went, walking out with their treasures in their arms. Some kept asking if it was really okay to go back for more. I think they were wondering what the gimmick was, struggling to trust it. It was so freeing to just let go. I realized the memories would always be mine, and I didn't need to hold on to the things that I had collected over the years. My antique blue mason jars were being replaced with Ziploc bags. My mother, who washed her plastic bags and proudly claimed what a waste of money it was to ever actually buy some, left me feeling as if I'd made a luxury purchase. My eldest son wanted to stay and finish high school, living with his friends across the street. My youngest son was living with his father. My daughter was going with me. I remember once the house was empty, cleaned, and the keys turned in. I drove the RV downtown and parked it. I jumped into the shower and suddenly had the awareness that here I was, actually taking a shower in the middle of the street. And as the water ran down my body, I giggled. I could never have imagined this. Was it crazy? It was. I was taking off, simply trusting God as we ventured out to speak with others about sexual abuse and eating disorders. The tank was full, and I had $20 to my name. We ended up stopping at some friends, and I met a young man who had shared with me that he was struggling with an eating disorder. He offered to pay for gas to Santa Monica if I would take him there and share how I was recovering along the way. I'm not saying that the trip was easy. There were plenty of challenges. I spoke at churches and schools, and my daughter and I started writing inspirational sayings and putting them in packets of flower seeds, selling them along the way. While staying with friends outside of Denver, my daughter went with her friend and her two younger brothers to watch a game when they were hit by a drunk driver. My daughter was ejected from the car before it went down a ravine and stopped. The girls were the most injured and taken to the hospital. I received the call from the paramedics, and I remember calling out to God for help as I drove to meet them. My daughter broke her pelvis and ribs, and her friend shattered her ankle and had a broken hip as well. A woman who had seen the accident happen said something came flying out of the car and went sliding down the wet road. She didn't recognize it as a person until it had come to a stop near a curb. Miraculously, the window that my daughter went through had broken on impact, and the water from the light rain on the street had protected her from serious cuts and scrapes. We stayed in Denver until the girls were released and they were on crutches. The settlement from that accident ended up paying for my daughter's college tuition. So, the insight on this particular story is you may not know how it will turn out. Simply take the next step. Let go, trust, and listen. Now, as I said, it wasn't easy. There were lots of challenges. However, my daughter really wanted a college education. And quite frankly, as a single parent struggling through early addiction with 3 children, there's no way I could have afforded it. And while she got a scholarship, it actually did end up being the money from that settlement that allowed her to go to the college of her choice and actually get a teaching credential. So I share this with you because, yeah, I felt crazy. Of course I did. Most of the people around me thought I was crazy. But I can still remember the freedom that I felt and just simply trusting, taking one step at a time, and actually not knowing the outcome. I think about that right now as we're stepping into this new plan in Idaho. And while I don't have so little a structure to stand on, so little backing to stand on this time, there's still, I can remember that feeling. There's still something exciting about just trusting where this is all going to lead. A lot of people say, "Oh, I can't wait to hear what your plans are for Idaho." And the truth is, we don't really have that many plans. We're listening and we're following. So, as I sign off and until next time, look at your own life. Look at where perhaps you could take on just getting still, getting quiet, and listening to your inner voice, that reliable source that mostly we crowd out with activity or music or movies or whatever it might be. See if you can't listen to that voice. And then whatever you hear, begin to take steps towards that. Don't try to necessarily make sense out of it. I don't think it does make sense. It's a wisdom that's way beyond our own mental calculations. But there's something miraculous that happens when you begin to build a trusting relationship with that still, small, quiet voice that's deep inside of you. So take that on. And by the way, you can always email me and let me know what you hear or how it's going. Okay? Talk to you next week.